Do the Gobble Wobble. Do the Gobble Wobble.
Welcome to our Kodable live Gobble Wobble directed drawing. Thank you all for taking the time to join us today. My name is Danielle, and I was a K through 6 STEM teacher for 8 years, and I loved using Kodable with all of my classes. So now I'm very lucky to be on the teacher team, which means I get to help teachers and students use the Kodable program and be successful with it.
I am Greg Allen, the art director at Kodable. I've been here, I think, over going on around 8 years now. And I've always loved education and I've loved drawing, so this seems to be the best of both.
My name's Emmy. I also used to be a teacher. I taught K through 8 STEM for about 10 years. And I have been at Kodable for 3.5 years now. And I work on the product team. So I come up with ideas of what to put into the game. I test them with kids. And so I feel really lucky and I love working at Kodable.
Okay, and before I move on, I have to tell you guys that there is a turkey from the Gobble Wobble event, just one hiding on every single slide. So see if you're able to find that one turkey that is hiding. Okay, so here's our plan today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Gobble Wobble event that is happening now in Kodable. Then we're going to dive into the guided drawing with Greg, where he's going to show your class step by step how to draw some characters from the Gobble Wobble event. So if you haven't already prepared supplies, make sure you have blank pieces of paper, pencil with an eraser, and then some coloring supplies nearby. At the very end, we'll allow some question time so teachers can use the chat to ask questions that their class has to the Kodable team. It can be anything about art, coding, or creating. And during that time, your class can color in their artwork. So I wanted to show you guys some behind the scenes look at the Gobble Wobble event. Our team came together and wanted to put on an awesome Thanksgiving event this year. And if you guys ever come up with projects in class, in groups, or use the engineering design process, you might recognize how sometimes you start with one idea and you keep changing and iterating and improving the idea to create an awesome character or an awesome project. So that here's just some behind the scene looks as how our items and characters changed and evolved as we all got together as a team and shared ideas and edited them and created something awesome that turned into the Gobble Wobble event. If you have not played yet, raise your hand if you've played. I can't see you, but I hope there's a lot of hands up. It's a really, really fun activity where you can see this video over here kind of going through showing off some of the fun challenges, practice your engineering skills, engage with some new characters. Here's some images over here on the right of student creations in the game. And really it's awesome because the possibilities are endless. If you have enjoyed this event or past Kodable events, we have some exciting news that we have more events coming up as well. We actually have 2 events in December. One is the Hour of Code. So if your class celebrates Hour of Code, we do have a lot of activities you can use for that. And special surprise announcement, this Winter Spectacular image is from last year's, and we are actually all hard at work right now designing a brand new Winter Spectacular event. So be on the lookout for that. And then we also have our Valentine's Day event coming up. And a lot of these will also include more live webinars where you can meet with the team and join in on a fun activity too. Teachers, to stay in the loop of when these are, you can just check your dashboard or your emails to find out about dates and when they're going to be happening. And if you have not had a chance to meet the new characters, the Floofs, or Pixel, this character over here moving around, venture around Flooftopia, play some courses on coding, design your own video games, play some engineering courses, learn about science topics, and our brand new digital citizenship course as well. And you can see our events will be over here too as they pop up. So students, that's where you can find those events. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get set up. If you have not yet, make sure you've got your piece of paper. You're going to put it horizontal, just like this picture. You need a pencil with an eraser and some coloring supplies. You can use crayons, markers, colored pencils, whatever you'd like, and you'll get some extra time at the end to color in. This image right here of the Gobble Wobble characters is what you all are going to be learning to draw from Codable's art director, Greg. He has been here, I believe, for over 7 years, and a lot of the art and the characters and the items and even the music in Kodable was actually created by Greg. So he is very multi-talented, and he's excited to just take you guys step by step, learn a little bit about art today, and draw these Kodable characters. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to him. I'll give him a second to project his screen.
Today we will, as Danielle said, be drawing this Gobble Wobble scene. We will be drawing the turkey and the corn, but do not think that you need to draw them exactly as they are. Please have fun with this. So we're going to start with composition this time, which is because there's a few things going on here. We want to make sure that everything fits on the page and that there's room for everything. First thing we're going to draw, and you're going to have your pencil. You're going to be drawing very light so that we can erase things later if need be. So we're going to start on the horizontal line, that goes all the way across. It's actually called the horizon line. So we're just going to go, you can go left to right or right to left. I would go on the bottom of the page and not at the top, because all of our characters are going to be up here. All right, so you can see my line is perfectly straight. It doesn't matter. Let's move on to, so that's it. That's all we need to do for the horizon line. This basically lets our character sit on something that's not just plain air. We're going to start with the pie wedge next. This is our short inclined plane. It's also a pie wedge. So we're going to start with a very short triangle. And I just like to kind of sketch that out. And I think that will be fine for now. Don't worry about your hairy lines or messing up right now. That's why we're using the pencil and the eraser. Okay, so that's it for now. Let's move to the turkey. Now this is going to be your largest shape on the screen. So we're going to start with a very large circle. My circles are horrible, so I might get lucky this time, I don't know. But I do mine in very short strokes so that I can get it right. But turkeys are not perfect circles anyway. They're not even circles. Okay, so that'll do it for that. Now the turkey is a very complex character. It doesn't look like it, but it's to draw it nicely, it is. So let's work on the tail. Now the tail's actually going to be drawn by creating a circle within this circle. So this circle is going to be kind of like this, but that's just to show you where it's going to go. Now I'm going to rough it in a little bit easier. Also, my turkey is going to be kind of like this at an angle. So that's something to plan for as well. It doesn't need to be on yours. Okay, so I'm going to give this much room for the tail, and then I am going to do, this might be the hardest part of the whole thing, a circle within a circle. Like I said, this is only just finding stuff, making sure that everything's right. It is a stress-free time because you're using your pencil very lightly and an eraser. And here's my eraser. It's my virtual eraser.
Teachers, we also want to mention if at any point we're going too quickly, please just go ahead and let us know in the chat and we can slow down. If the pacing is great, let us know. So we're happy to be flexible.
I also wanted to mention that since we can't see you and see the awesome art that you guys are creating, teachers, if you'd like to take any pictures or videos of the process, we'll show you at the end how you can share them with the Kodable team because we would love to see.
Yep. Okay, let's move to these tail lines. So this is basically like a sun. It just fans out from the middle. But you're not going to draw in here. You're going to draw only in this outer, like crescent moon shape side shape. Okay, so This, again, does not need to be perfect. Because we're going to clean this all up with a darker pen, a colored pencil, something later. All right, let's move to the eyes. Now the eyes on the turkey are very big because the turkey on screen a lot of times is very small, so we want you to see certain things. Okay, again, circles are pretty hard, so I'm gonna give a couple seconds for that, for you guys to draw that. Okay. Still blocking some things in here. Let's move to the beak. The beak is basically just a triangle that's pointing down with a little rounded top to it. And I put it right between the two eyes. Very simple shapes here. Okay, the next part we're going to be doing is the waddle. Now, the waddle is actually used to express mood in the turkey. So I guess turkeys don't have a lot of facial expressions. And it can be from red to blue. So when you're coloring this thing on your own, feel free to color whatever you want. And it's just this weird thing that hangs off to the side. Okay, let's move to our corn characters. I think this will do it for the turkey for now. Now we've got 3 corn characters. You don't have to do all 3. You can do 2 or 1 or whatever you want. So I'm going to plot where these are going. And then I'm also going to plot where the tops and bottoms are. And I think that'll do it. So from here, we basically draw these kind of long oval shapes, like baguettes, I would guess, on their edges. And I like to vary the shape of them. So one can be wide at the top and narrow at the bottom, or the other way, which is what I just drew. These don't need to look like corn right now. They kind of look like long candy corn, actually. And it looks like I might be running out of room here, right? But I think I'll be okay. Great. All right. Now what we want to do is, our corn has very big eyes, again, because it's often small on screen. So we want you to see the eyes and some of the characteristics on these guys. So I'm going to vary the height of these so that these eyes don't end up like kind of running into each other. So more circles. We're going to start at the top for this guy. And I like to overlap them. Okay, that'll do it for that one. Let's do the next one. I'm going to put these lower. All right. And then this guy, I'm going to put him way at the top. How about that? All right. Now I'm gonna let you guys catch up, or not catch up, but just refine you might be even more ahead than I am. I'm going to just do a little cleanup while you guys draw your circle eyes. All right. And that does it for our general composition. Now, what I would do is get out a darker marker or a darker pencil, and we're going to start really cleaning this thing up. All right. So for me, that just means upping the opacity and making the brush a little bigger. So let's go. We're going to go from the turkey and then over to the corn. Let's start with the eyes, because I think the eyes are usually the most important part of a character. So we're going to very slowly kind of go over these circles and refine them and just make that, commit to that mark. And we're going to move to the pupils. And I'm going to have the turkey looking at the corn. So these pupils or these circles will be touching the edge, the right edge of these outer circles. Nice. Great. I'm going to put highlights in my eyes, but you don't have to do that. I just enjoy doing that because I think it gives it extra character. All right, let's refine this beak a little bit. Great. You give it a little bit more time to do that because eyes are hard. Trace some of these binding lines. Cool. Let's move to the tail. These tail feathers, I usually just kind of give a nice scalloped look to these. And that means just rounding out these edges. And this will give the appearance of tail feathers. This can obviously take some time, so we will give it to you. Almost done. We're going to do one more and then connect these lines. And then go over the circle again. And once you color this, a lot of these raw edges and imperfections will just melt away. I guarantee it. Okay. And next I want to draw this little, it's a feathery chest area because this just feels a little blank. Now, the turkey almost had a tie and a collar, but we got rid of that because it wasn't reed. But if you want to give the turkey a tie and a collar, I highly recommend it because he looks pretty good in it. Okay, we're going to do another scalloped thing here, but these are just more all the way around. And that I'm going to fill in my eyes while you guys continue. Now in art colors, they say if you want to fill something in, don't use a small brush. Take a big brush and then fill it in, because otherwise you're just wasting your time. And a big brush fills an area a lot more and it looks cleaner. Great. let's move on to our corn area. Actually, the corn's pretty fun. Let's move to the pie, and then we can go to the right. So the inclined plane is going to be pretty easy. There's not a lot of detail, as it's just a plane, and I think the characters should take more of the attention. So we're going to just clean this up, go all the way down, go all the way down here, and then just a simple, another scalloped pattern. I like to put a couple just details in there. And then let's do the horizon line again. Great. All right, let's move to the corn. These guys are going to come to life real quick, and it's going to be super fun. Okay, so these guys also have these husks, which kind of work as clothes for the corn. So I'm going to draw those first. They're kind of just teardrop shapes that are bent at the end. So I start in the middle and just do that. And then you connect it at the end. And it's kind of like a baby fish eating food from the bottom of the sea. This guy's going to have littler ones. In fact, you can have a few if you want. Doesn't need to be exactly like it is in the game. And then we're gonna complete this one. I got too excited and moved on. And then this guy's going to have a little bit slightly different one. Now, if you see a lot of characters like in Disney that are in groups or packs, like the hyenas in Lion King, they'll all be basically the same character, but they will have very slight differentiations like this, or in color, so that you can tell them apart. All right, let's move to, I think we can do the outer side of the outer area of the corn. So this is, again, using our scalloped approach. And you're going to do tiny little scallops, and you go all the way around your finding lines here. And they don't look like corn now, but I guarantee by the time you're done, it's going to look like corn. And you don't go over the eyes. That's why you plot this thing out ahead of time. And you just go all the way around. And don't worry if one's bigger than the other. Look, I'll make one a little bit bigger. You can even make it lumpy because corn is from nature, and not everything from nature is perfect. But somehow it is.
Teachers, feel free to use the chat at any time. Just let us know how it's going, if the pace is good, if your students are having fun. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, we got one more to do. Don't worry if some of your shapes run into other shapes, it's fine. All right, now what I like to do is from the bottom, just add a few more detail lines. And I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup because I know these scalloped edges can take a little bit of work, especially if you haven't done them before. So I'm going to just start erasing a little bit of these finding lines that I used to make these shapes. Cool. And then we're going to move on to the eyes and the mouths.
Greg, we have a quick request to take like a 1-minute breather so everybody can kind of keep up.
Sure. Yeah.
So we'll give everyone about a minute.
Yeah, I sometimes forget because I've created these characters and I've drawn them a few times now, so no problem.
We're excited to read all these messages, you guys. Hearing second grade is having a wonderful time. First grade in Miami is loving it. We're so happy to hear that you guys are enjoying it. Teachers, don't forget to take some pictures so we can actually see the artwork at the end.
Yeah, we love that.
Great job, everybody.
I can just hear the erasers in the classroom right now. Okay. I think that's been about a minute. Now, the rest of this is going to go real easy and super quick. We're just going to do the eyes and the mouths. And basically, we're almost done here. So, getting back, we're going to do a whole bunch of circles here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 circles. And this is why you do your finding lines. And this character is going to be looking at the turkey. Your pupils can be any size you want them to be. Go to the next character. Again, your circles do not need to be pretty. A lot of times, even if they are a little clunky, it actually gives the character more character. This guy's gonna have one smaller eye because I did not compose as well as I should have. This guy is looking at the turkey as well. And I want the third corn to just not be paying attention at all. So he's gonna be looking at the sky. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Give these some highlights. Don't feel like you need to do that. And then fill in. These eyes can take some time, so I'm going to let you guys draw and take a look. Sometimes it's good to take a step back from your drawing. Sometimes you can, in art college, they tell us to look at your drawing in a mirror and see if it looks weird. And if it looks weird, then you might want to change some things. Okay, let's give them some expressions, because right now they're just kind of these weird eyeball corns looking at stuff. So the first one's going to be happy. And so I just do this little crescent moon mouth that you've probably seen on all our Fuzz characters. And this guy, I think he knows kind of what's going on. So he's going to be not so happy. And I'm going to do the opposite frown. And he's going to go all the way down like that. And then let's give him a corn kernel tooth. And this guy on the right, I'm just going to give a little open mouth. And then I'll just put a little lip underneath there. So he's, ooh. And then I'm just going to do a few more details and some motion lines, and we're basically done. So we want this to look like it's rolling. So we just do these nice little motion lines that they use in illustrations all the time. and all of a sudden it looks like it's rolling. And kids, that's basically it. Um, you can add more details as you wish. Add a mustache. One of our corn has mustaches. Another one has glasses. One of them has funny hair. So feel free to do whatever you want with these guys. And happy Thanksgiving.
Wonderful. Great job, everybody. At this time, I mentioned you can color in your artwork with crayons, colored pencils, markers, whatever you'd like. And teachers, if you want to take any questions from your students that they'd like to ask to the Kodable team, anything about Greg and his art or the courses we have, or just our thoughts and opinions on anything, you can use this time to allow students to color in their artwork and ask us some questions. And we did get a good question in the chat about getting the recording. So everyone will get this recording by the end of the day today, in case you want to do it with more classes or do it again. Greg, we have a class that feels like yours came out a little bit better than theirs. What would you say back to this class?
I would say I'm an old man and I've been doing this for quite some time. Give yourself a break, because when I was very young, I actually wasn't that great, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm actually red-green colorblind, so I've had quite a few blockings in the art world, and handicaps that I've had to come out, get over. But if your passion is true and you want to keep doing it, then never give up.
Very good advice. We also have a question that says, how long have you been making art?
Since I was 5. My grandfather was an illustrator. He wanted to be an illustrator. And like I said, my grandmother was an educator, and he would often do a lot of art for her classrooms. So when I would visit them, which was all the time, I just drew and drew and drew. And it just became a bonding moment for us.
That's awesome. Wow, we have a lot of good questions. We will try to get to all of them. Let's see what we've got. Was there anything in particular that inspired you to use the turkey as the bowling ball?
There was a time when we were thinking of using a pumpkin as well, and the pumpkin just wasn't as fun. And as a team, we had kind of a virtual meeting, and we all just, it wasn't just me, like I didn't design this character by myself. Like we all talked about it, and it was like, no, like originally the character's eyes were on the left and he was looking to the side, and our CEO said, no, you should be looking straight at us. And I'm like, yeah, that looks great. It's that way, if it's rolling left or right, it just makes sense. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, good question. Greg, do you have a favorite artist?
That's a hard question, just because there's a ton of different types of art. Like there's sculpture, there's music, and there's illustration. I would say probably one of my favorite artists would be in the illustration world, a guy named Nico Marley, who's done all the character art for Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon, and a few other big like DreamWorks movies. If you haven't checked them out, go on Google and check them out, because those drawings really make the movie. And that's Marlet. Marlet.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Thanksgiving food?
Ooh. Stuffing with gravy. Solid.
Good one. We have a first grader from Miami, Florida that wants to know why you made the fuzzballs and do you have a favorite fuzzball?
Oh, the fuzzes. I actually didn't make the fuzzes. Our founders made the fuzzes. And when I came on, all I did was just take the characters that were already created and make them more dynamic, make them better looking, give them a little bit more personality. Like their personalities were already fleshed out, but they didn't look the way that we really wanted them to because the person that made them wasn't really an artist. But again, she had passion. And so my favorite would probably be, I think it'd be Simon. I just like his eyes in the glasses.
It's a great one. I'm going to take over the screen really quickly just to show you guys where you can share pictures of the artwork created by your students. So teachers, if you do have any social media like Facebook or Instagram and you want to post from the event today, you can tag us at Kodable. There's also one more hidden turkey on this slide, so hopefully you can find it. Okay, I'm going to go back to Greg so that he can continue to color with you guys, and we will take a few more questions.
Drawing is also a really nice way of being with friends. Like you don't have to have a conversation, but you can just draw things and then share it with each other. It's really good screen off time too.
Very true. When did you first get into digital art?
Digital art wasn't really even a thing when I was young, but they did start having ways of making it when I was probably at the end of elementary school, so probably about you guys' ages. And it was very crude, which means it was rough. It wasn't really thought out that much. I wasn't, they hadn't figured a lot out. Like Photoshop wasn't even around yet. But after a while, it seemed like it was a really fun way of doing something in a different medium. Because there's ways that you can do oil paint, you can do watercolors, and I find digital illustration just another medium. And a medium is like that. It's markers, it's sculpting, it's clay, basically. And if I wanted to actually do this for a living, the digital route was a very good route to go because that's where everything's going. Pixar went that way. All of Disney stopped doing traditional artwork and going more computer route.
Okay. Kodable team, do you have a favorite course you play in Kodable?
Ooh.
Personally, my favorite course is Capture the Flag. It's in the coding building. It's the third one, and it's really fun because there's like platforms, and I get my character to jump between them, and I create my own video game, which is really fun.
I really like our new digital citizenship course just because I kind of like the mystery of it and being a detective and sorting through papers and solving those cases. But I also am a really big fan of pets and Kodable basics because I like feeling like I get to take care of the animals and come back to pets and see what's changed since I last was there.
I believe mine would be Moon Garden, just because of its whimsy. It's a very fun planet. And the fact that it's kind of at night and everything's lit up, like really makes me, I don't know, I just really enjoy that.
Okay, we are starting to wrap up here. We appreciate you guys taking the time to join us. We can't wait to see pictures of your artwork. Again, you can send them over to support@kodable.com, and we're looking forward to see your masterpieces. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Gobble wobble.
Gobble wobble, everyone.
Gobble Wobble. Gobble Wobble.
Gobble